Hi friends, let's discuss something little funny today. Why don't I have a tail and why don't I have fur, right? Uh, would that be nice? I don't know. I'm wearing a pant now. If I had a tail, where will my tail go? Then if I had fur, I will feel hot all the time, right? If I go outside in my car in the sun, maybe in the winter, but I have AC, right? So I don't need them. But why don't I have them? Because if we came from monkeys, that's what we all believe, and we know that evolution happened. So let's try to understand what really happened and why don't I have those things, right? So the first thing is monkeys. We all know that this is a different monkey, but still, that we were the monkeys became smarter, then evolution happened slowly. The monkey changed, it became smarter every generation. Then after many generation we have humans, right? So we know that this is the process that happened. So what, at which stage did we lose our fur and our tail? So before that, let's talk about a thing that we all have seen. We all might have broken a finger or a hand or a leg at some point, maybe. But if you have, once your hand is in a cast for suppose 3 months, and after you cut the cast, you see that this hand is little weaker. It's not as strong as the other hand. Why? Because you did not use the hand. So your brain is sending signals. It's not being used. Let's not use our resources. Let's not waste the resources on this arm. But then after your hand is fixed, you start to use it. You also start to gain strength. Okay. So if you don't use it, your brain is starting to send signals. That's the first factor. Okay. Now what happens is, let's first talk about the tail, right? What is the tail used for? If we see birds and some fast animals like the cheetah, what do when they run? The tail give them balance, or when the birds fly, they can change direction. The tail is used for lions, elephants, big animals. They might fly away mosquitoes, or sometimes they use it maybe for some direction, but normally it's for smaller things, but it's still useful, right? Then some deer, they might use it for camouflage, and then some reptiles, they use it to store fat. But out of all those things, nothing applies to humans, right? So but then when did this happen, right? That's the key question. When did this thing happen and why? So so what happened is, over many generations, many thousands, or even millions of years, what happened is we did not need our tail or fur anymore, because this human became smarter. So before it was human, a group of monkeys, we can say, or smart Homo sapiens, right? So before that, the smart monkeys, what happened is, in search of food or to change their habitat because there was some danger, a group came down from trees and they started to venture outwards. Slowly, they started to live in caves. They were protected from the environment. So slowly, the need for the fur started to go away. In the same way, the monkeys need the tail because, again, jumping from tree to tree, balancing, maybe hanging from trees. But these group of specific monkeys who started to come down from the trees a lot, they did not need the tail that much anymore. So over generation, again the hand example, the brain started to send signals to that body part, and what happens is there is genetic mutation. So our body starts to send signals for the next generation, and there is mutation or changes happening in the protein structure of our DNA, which is which makes the next generation a little better. So the tail becomes shorter, or the fur is not that prominent. So over many generations, these parts we have lost because we did not need it anymore. There are two factors which can trigger such a change. It can be macro or micro. So what do I mean by macro is it's a big change like temperature change, or there was a big earthquake and the sea started to dry up, or the water started to decrease slowly. So what happens is that's a huge change. Animals start to adapt. Okay, so the fish, some fish are mammals, some fish are not. There are some animals that can live in water and also on land. They could be impacted by macro. Micro is it's a small area specific information. If you have mosquitoes in place A and in place B, and you start to give a lot of insecticides or medicine to kill the mosquitoes at one place A, over some generations those mosquitoes they become resistant. They are not impacted by that insecticide anymore. That's called a micro area specific change that has happened over generation of those mosquitoes. Some other examples are frogs, right? If it's a greeny leafy area, the frog would be green because it tries to hide from uh, its hunters. And if it's a dry area, muddy area, the frogs would tend to be brownish. If they are green, they will stand out, right? And any hunter can catch the frog and it can become a prey. Those are micro area specific changes. Another big concept is natural selection. What that means is because there are changes happening in the environment, some animals of a big group they adapt faster, and then what happens, they are the ones who survive and they pass that information to the next generation. Example is when at some point the giraffe was not that tall, but what happened, maybe due to lack of green grass or maybe too much competition, some giraffes started or tried to eat leaves which are very high. So over time they pass that information to the next generation. So every generation there was a slow change, and over a longer period of time giraffes became that tall. Another example is sometimes these penguins, right? They don't need wings, but they have wings. Why? Because they found another use. Those wings they don't need to fly because there are no predators in the South Pole. So they are who can catch them if they are not able to fly that easily. But what they did, they learned how to swim with those wings. So they found another use. Emus, they don't have any use of their wings. They can run very fast, but there are some remnants, some small wings there. Okay, so sometimes they find a different use, sometimes over generation, because they do it better than their peers, they pass that trait to the next generation. So we discussed some concepts, why we lost, because we don't need them, and that information is passed to our genes, and slowly over generations that change happens. And why, and another key question everyone asks is, if evolution is so prominent, why aren't all the monkeys humans, right? Why? Because They don't need to be. They are perfect in their environment. They are happy to sustain themselves. They can eat the food that they want. They are safe. They are breeding, and there is no imminent danger. But the specific group of monkeys that started to come down from trees and venture outwards, they invented new things, they discovered new things, and then they became humans. Okay, so I hope I was able to explain this complex topic a little bit, and hope you like the video. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. See you soon with another interesting topic. Thank you.